Mike McCall here again. This is the third installment where I'm constructing the Lynn Olson Ariel speakers. This is a 6C version of those. Just want to do a quick thing here to let you know where I'm at here so I can move on with the rest of the project. It's come along pretty nicely. What I've done here is this is the template that I made to do the dados for the size of the speakers. Basically the way I did that is I took this a half-inch piece of plywood, another 2x4 piece, and it's actually just a little bit longer. What you want to do is you want to make some reference marks. You don't have to draw the entire speaker out. Just make some reference marks so you know where to put the pieces. And you set those on there, just like that. Basically what I did was I just took a pencil and outlined the entire part, just like that. Actually use a mechanical pencil for that. You get a finer line, a more accurate line. And basically what I did after that was I have a jig here to make the dados with. And the way you set that up with is, you notice it's totally adjustable. Comes apart at both ends. You put the piece of wood in there that you're going to be routing out for. In this case, it's the 3/4 inch plywood. Take that, tighten these down like so. And after you do that, you can take that piece of wood out. It'll take a little bit of doing, but you can get that piece of wood out. And you're able to take this jig and put exactly where you need it on here. And if you notice the jig is long enough, it'll pretty much do any of these longer runs and still have room to clamp it onto the template here. What I did also was, just to be on the safe side to give me a little more wiggle room, when I put the piece of wood in there to measure for the width of the dado, I slipped a couple playing cards in there. Gives me a little bit more wiggle room. The dado's going to end up being just a little bit, just a hair bigger than what I need. But when I go to assemble it, it's going to be a lot less hassle to do that, I believe. So what we have over here are the finished dados. Once you get the template made and get your set up on top of the wood there, it takes about 15 minutes to do this. And if you notice, because the router bit has a rounded edge to it, you have two options after this. You can either chisel this out, make it perfectly square, or you can go back here and you can take a sander and round off these edges so they fit into the dados there. So I'm probably going to do the sanding part of it. Should be fairly quick, not as tedious. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that actually plans call for 3/4 inch MDF. Basically what I've done is, a lot of people finish these speakers with veneer, which is fine. I'm just don't happen to be a big fan of veneer. It's really thin. It doesn't give you the depth and the luster that a thicker panel would. And God forbid you scratch it someday, and because they're impossible to repair. Basically what I've done is I've used 1/2 inch MDF here for the sides of the speakers. And on top of that, I'm going to be applying a 1/4 inch panel. These are actually some cherry I had laying around. Came down in a storm a few years ago. I've taken these and actually book matched those. These are going to be for the sides. They should turn out pretty well. Now, another thing I wanted to show you. I've gone ahead and built the crossovers for this. Basically, I took some pegboard here. This is about 6 inches wide this way. I think we're looking at about 17 inches this way. I actually spread this whole thing out. Basically what I did was the bigger pieces, the inductors and the bigger capacitors, I strapped those down. And for the other stuff, I used, let's see if I can get the thing here. This stuff here. It's a waterproof silicone by GE. Make sure you get the silicone 1 right there. It works the best. Silicone 2 does not do the job at all. And if you notice, this is just held on with the caulking there, and it's not going anywhere. So I built the boxes for these to go in. These are actually going to sit behind the speaker. And if you notice here, I basically separated these out. From here on back is the mid-range portion of the crossover. From here on up, right there on up, is the tweeter portion. Went ahead from Parts Express. Went ahead and went with the Dayton Audio 10 gauge speaker wire. It's an over 400 count oxygen-free strands in the each run, they should be fairly good. The only problem you have to watch out is when you're trying to solder this stuff. I basically used a butane torch. It's really about the only way you can do it. I don't know if that's actually soldering anymore or where brazing begins, but that's the only way you can do it. And what it did was, you notice here, I got these terminal cups from Parts Express. I wasn't really happy with the banana plugs that came with them. So I actually took the old ones out, put new heavier duty ones in, and I've got a cherry spacer here to make up for the depth. I think it's something, looks like this. So you notice here, I went ahead and put blocks in here so I can attach the back. Basically, this is the block I glued here. These are hex nut inserts that match a brass screw. And you can see over here, I've got the brass screws right there. All right. So that's where we're at right now. I said it's going to go pretty quick after this, I believe. All the little stuff has been done. So I just wanted to post this video, and anybody out there who actually happens to be working on one of these, that's where we're at right now. I went ahead and as far as the amp is concerned, I went ahead and got this guy named Bob Latino. I believe he's out of Pennsylvania. Sells a kit. It's based on the original Dynaco ST70 amp, the vacuum tube amp. And it's kind of messy here. I'm working on a few things. That's the chassis right there. Got the transformers right here that I went ahead and painted a different color because I'm not a big fan of black. It comes as a whole kit. It's very well packed, and I'll be working on that as well. So until next time, if anybody has any comments, questions, or advice, for that matter, I'm more than open. So we'll talk to you next time.